You're listening to Off the Vine with Kaitlyn Bristowe.
Hey, Vinos, real quick, if you are listening right now, which obviously you are or you wouldn't be hearing this, can you hit the subscribe or follow button on whatever platform you're on? Please. That one simple thing helps more than you even realize. It allows me to keep growing on this podcast and making these episodes the best they can possibly be, obviously for you. That's the only favor I'm going to ever ask, okay? It truly means the world to me. Thank you. Now let's get into it. Hey everybody, welcome to Off the Vine. I'm your host, Kaitlyn Bristowe, and today I have someone on whose name you've definitely heard before, probably through headlines, probably a lot of tabloids and endless speculation that has followed her for so many years. Amanda Knox spent nearly 4 years in an Italian prison after being wrongfully convicted of her roommate Meredith Kercher's murder. So after a long, painful, and very public legal battle, she was exonerated, but the story never really left her. So now for the first time, Amanda is helping tell her own story as an executive producer for the new Hulu series, The Twisted Tale of Amanda Knox. I am totally honored today that she is here, and she shares not only what she went through in her life, but also what it took to make this series happen and the parts of her journey that we haven't seen or heard as much of in the past. So let's welcome Amanda Knox. So I knew, obviously, your story, everything. And then I went back and I was like, I wonder when that Netflix show came out because remember I watched it. I didn't realize it was 2016 that came out. I was talking with a friend from Hulu and I was like, I'm pretty sure it came out in like 2020 because you know how time is just so weird the last 5 years. And she was like, I don't know. So we looked it up. I was like, 2016 is when that happened. Now that's what, 9 years ago,
Yeah,
which is crazy because so much happens in 1 year, let alone 9.
absolutely.
But how many years was everything before that Netflix documentary came out?
Right. So this whole ordeal started in 2007.
Wow.
So 18 years ago. Yeah.
And here we are still.
Here we are still. And yet, even just thinking about the difference between 2016 and now,
Yeah.
right? Like, 2016 was just 1 year after I was definitively exonerated,
Right.
but like, I was still.
Processing a million billion traumatic things.
Yes, and feeling really alienated from the rest of
Totally.
the world, and, like, I was a very timid and, scared to be in public kind of person. I
bet.
hid quite a lot,
Which
and
then brings you into a darker place because you're isolating yourself.
exactly, it's a prison of your own making,
Yes.
and, I this was before I ever it was a time in my life when I felt like no matter what I said or what I did, I was always being viewed in the worst possible light, and so I felt helpless, like it was this learned helplessness
Yeah.
because, so many doors, literal doors slam in your face and you can't open them.
Yeah.
Like you start to feel like there's just nowhere forward and nowhere for you to be.
Yeah. I said so many times so I rewatched it this morning.
Cool.
And I said so many times to my makeup artist while she was doing my makeup, I'm like, I want to jump through the screen and hug her. And I said, you know, what's really sad to me, and you can please tell me if I'm wrong on this, but you had like such a, like you said, quirky sparkle. I called it a quirky sparkle. And I'm like, I remember, not that this story is similar in any way, it's just an example, but Megan Fox, I think, was bullied so long and she was always just so sexualized and all this. She always says she lost her sparkle. And then I'm like, and she said, you know, I hate when people get just destroyed online or for anything. I hope they don't lose their sparkle. You definitely had that quirky sparkle. Do you feel like you lost it?
Oh, I definitely lost it for a long time.
Do you have it back?
I think so.
Okay,
Absolutely.
probably never will be the same, but
Yeah, it's a different sparkle now,
Yeah.
right? Like it's not as just, bright and optimistic. Like
Yeah.
I was almost a Disney princess in the sparkle department. Like I
Yeah.
would, wake up and birds would be chirping and
Yeah.
like almost landing on my finger. Like that
Yeah.
was my life
Oh.
before. Yeah, exactly. Like everything is good. Nothing bad has ever happened to me. And then a witch gives me a poisoned apple and
No
life is over,
kidding.
Like, so.
That is actually such a fear of mine, is traveling to another country and something happening where I have zero control and I can't speak the language and somehow end up in jail. Like there's movies about it and I'm like, wow, that is my biggest fear. And
It was not my biggest fear because I had no idea.
Yeah, you were
not on my radar.
Yeah, my brain is always like worst case scenario, but you were in this positive. Well, what were you, 20?
I was 20.
20. So yeah, I guess when I was 20, I didn't have a care in the world.
I mean, my worst case scenario at the time was someone's going to steal my passport.
Right.
Or like I'm going to get sick or something like that.
Not that your roommate's going to get murdered and then you're going to be
No.
charged for it.
No.
That is, this whole thing blows my mind so much. Like, we've seen your story be told and told over again for 15 years. And I just feel like now you get to have creative control as an executive producer, which is so good because you get to actually have your own voice. I was thinking about this with the Netflix show because that was 9 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
You had already been portrayed in the media as a certain way in Italy and all over the world. Did you feel like Netflix did a good job at portraying the truth and who you were?
Yeah, I think the filmmakers did a really good thing. They did a number of really good things that I hadn't seen before in the media coverage of the case. And it was a journalistic take. Obviously, it's a documentary, which is a
Mhm.
very different thing than, say, a dramatization that
Right.
we have going on, today.
Yes.
The Twisted Tale of Man Knox is a dramatization.
Yes.
There's an actress playing me.
Yeah.
The documentary that the Netflix filmmakers made was really smart because it was a commentary on the media.
Mhm.
It was a lens on me that ended up reflecting back at the media itself. And I
Mhm.
thought that's why, I mean, there are many reasons why it was a very successful documentary.
Mhm.
One, it was hitting at the right time. Like, this is when, elevated true crime was really exploding. It was one of those first documentaries that kickstarted
Right.
the, true crime documentary revolution. And I think they did a really good job at giving every single person who was interviewed the opportunity to really represent themselves
Mhm.
and to represent what they truly believed.
Yeah.
And I really appreciated them because when they approached me and asked me questions, that it wasn't just this litany of the same kinds of questions that I was always getting, which was, what happened? Where were you? What were you,
Right.
what were you thinking?
Right.
Like that, those kind of like almost interrogation questions where they treat you and your life like a plot point for their own, moral narrative.
Yep.
And instead they like really just sat with me and let me reflect, what did I really think about all this stuff that had happened now that I
Mm.
was, out of prison, but still very much processing the experience. And in fact, they interviewed me while I was still on trial. Like, the whole
Oh,
thing
wow.
wasn't over for me.
Yeah, because at the end of the documentary, they say, like, they decided they're gonna charge you again.
Right, exactly. So yeah, in the meantime between me getting out of prison and me being definitively exonerated in 2015, like, they were making the documentary in that in between space when I was still on trial again. Like, in Italy, they can retry you even after you've been acquitted until the highest court,
Yeah.
their version of the Supreme Court gives a definitive, acquittal or conviction. And
Wow.
so I was on trial for 8 years. I spent my entire 20s just on trial with this axe over my head, either in prison or with
And,
the
like,
threat of
you're
prison.
supposed to, in your 20s, just be, like, traveling and, like, living your silly little 20 life, like,
Making
making mistakes
mistakes. Yeah,
and
oh,
making out with Italian men and,
yeah.
like, doing what you were wanting to do, and this has been those 8 years of your 20s, like, how do you you can't get it back.
No, you don't. You don't get it back.
Yeah.
And, there was a lot that was lost in Italy. Like, 2 young women went to go study abroad in Perugia,
Yeah.
Italy, and only one survived to
Right.
tell the tale.
Yeah.
And so, like, grappling with that, like, grappling with a weird sense of survivor's guilt, grappling with,
Sure.
a world that's sort of telling me that I'm not a true victim because I wasn't murdered, like, a whole world that was telling me to just shut up and disappear, and
Yeah.
here I am, like, or blaming me for my own wrongful conviction, like,
Yeah.
it was a lot. It was a lot to deal with as a young person who had, again, like, 0 experience with trauma.
Right.
And I think part of the other issue was I didn't realize how ultimately universal my trauma was.
Mm.
Like, I had felt so sort of isolated and, singled out
For sure.
as, like, now you, human, do not belong to the rest of us. You are exiled.
Yeah.
There's, no one can relate to you. No one understands you. And I felt that. I thought that was true
Mhm. Yeah.
until I started meeting other wrongly convicted people, which
I
was
was gonna
good.
ask, yeah, that's
But even beyond the other wrongly convicted people that I met, I'll never forget the first time that I was recognized by someone who I I didn't make friends when I first got out of prison, but I
yeah.
did go back to school because
You did.
I was trying to get back to a sense of normalcy. And
Yeah.
so that was the first thing that came to mind, just go back to school.
Yeah.
That's the thing I know.
Yeah.
And I go back to school and I'm older than a lot of my classmates
Mhm.
now, and I'm very much sort of like keeping my head down, just showing up to class and then getting out of there. But I do make friends with a girl in my poetry class, and we start hanging out outside of class because we're just vibing each other's
Yeah.
poetry. It's such a nerdy thing to say, but
I love
like
it.
we were just like vibing each other's poetry, and we would hang out on Saturdays to like just talk poetry and like
Yeah.
share stuff with each other. And one day she showed up at the coffee shop and she was like, "Oh my God, you're Amanda Knox." And I was
Oh,
just like,
no. Yeah,
"Oh, no. What Google rabbit hole have you gone down? What do you think
truly.
of me?" And, like, my face must have turned white
Yeah.
because she immediately was like, "No, no, no. Like, don't misunderstand." She was like, "I was raped when I was a teenager. I was gang raped. And everything that you are sort of talking about in your poetry, like the helplessness,
Oh,
the
yeah.
feeling of being overwhelmed and not knowing how to, like, make sense of this, like, horrible thing that just happened to you, like, all of that resonates with me.
Wow.
And that was, like, the first inkling that I had that this experience that I had gone through, sure, was, like, very uncommon in a lot of ways, but was ultimately deeply universal because we all,
Yeah.
especially in our 20s,
Yeah.
like, again, are navigating the world doing the best we can, and sometimes we encounter people who hurt us. And, like, how do we then approach our lives not feeling like we are diminished
Yeah.
or are merely victims,
Mhm.
right? How do we acknowledge these facts and help them propel us forward? And
Wow.
that's like been my whole adult life is trying to figure
Wow.
that
Are you
out.
still friends with this person?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my god. I feel like that probably gave you the perfect amount of hope that you needed. Also along with, like, so much hurt and sadness for her and her story
Yeah.
and, like, a tragically beautiful connection.
Yeah, and, that's a similar thing that I'm hoping this series does, is, like, when
Yes.
people finally see it from my own eyes, it's going to be less of a voyeuristic kind of experience
Mhm.
and more of a deeply intimate and personal one. Like,
Yeah.
I'm the way that we have crafted this story was intended, like, me and KJ Steinberg, the creator and showrunner, like, the idea was to put people in literally in my shoes so they felt viscerally
Mhm.
what was going on with me in a way that they never have before.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, it's brilliant, but that must have been hard to relive again and again, and I'm like, at this point, are you numb? Are you like, how do you feel recreating it?
That's an interesting question because this isn't the first time that I've told my story,
Right.
right? Like I do a lot of after the Netflix documentary came out, it was the first time people started reaching out to me and wanting to know what my perspective was.
For
Like
sure.
that was the biggest thing that the Netflix documentary did was it gave people the idea that I might have some kind of valuable perspective to share.
Mhm.
And I started being invited to speak about controversy and about judgment to various groups of people. And so I've shared my story in that way. And one of the things that's really crucial for telling my story is I have to go where it hurts.
Yeah.
Like if I'm going to convey honestly to an audience what this experience was like, I have to go where it hurts and where it haunts me. And the same process is true in the making of a show.
Mhm.
The difference is that I can share like it's not the pressure isn't all on me to like get it right.
Yeah.
Now
It's
I
more you
have
just
like a
actually
village
yeah.
of
Mhm.
people who really care about getting it right. And I think that that was something that I didn't realize even going into this process was like realizing that it wasn't just me anymore, right? Like it was Grace Van Patten, it
Yeah.
was KJ Steiger, it was Monica Lewinsky, who's
Yeah.
executive producing the show. It was Warren Littlefield, our lead producer. It was all, it was the gaffers and the cameramen and the Italian actors who were incredible, who were coming,
Yeah.
and all of them caring so much about getting it right. Like I was not really prepared for the feeling of like relief and gratitude I felt for this
Yeah.
village that had come around me to help me
Well, because
tell
all
my
you've
story.
ever needed and all you've ever deserved is a community of people to rally behind you and be there for you, and you now have it after however many years. And that's like that's so beautiful. And I can't imagine how therapeutic that must feel just because, as you know and went through, so many people were against you or trying to twist a story or, like media does its media thing. And
And to this day, for the
oh, I'm
record, like to this
sure. I'm thinking
day.
you probably get scared to even do podcasts to like be like, what's the headline? What's the like story gonna be? I would be so jaded. So to feel like you have almost this family just like around you helping create your truth, your story, and have people care that much. I'm like, what a full circle like moment.
It is.
And the timing like forever, but like you still need this, and you like you said, you probably needed it more than you even realized.
In fact,
Yeah.
that is true.
Yeah.
Like, because and again, because it's just like I've been holding that torch, fighting, to stand up for myself for so long. And it's just such a relief to know that there are other people who are standing up for me in such a profound way.
Mhm.
And like I don't know if even they knew ahead of time like how big of a deal it would be to like step in my shoes.
Yeah.
Um
Yeah, what were those conversations like with Grace Van Patten?
I mean, Grace is so professional.
Yeah.
Like she's been in the industry for years
Yeah.
already. So like she's very grounded in her craft, which is
Mhm.
so cool. Like just seeing her come alive as a character. Like, I'll never get the first time. It wasn't even on set. It was they were doing like trying on costumes thing that they
Mhm.
did where like they put every character in costume and just had them sort of walk on, into a room sort of in character.
Mhm.
And like the first time she's, just wearing jeans and a Beatles t-shirt, whatever, just like comes into the room with a little cha-cha to her step and like I was just like, "Oh my god," I got chills.
Yeah.
Just like, "Oh
Yeah.
my god, there I am, like,
Yeah.
there she is."
Yeah.
And so, like, it was very bizarre for me to, like, have this doppelganger version of me just, like, right there before my eyes.
Right.
And it was all just, like, these conversations where she had really, like, intelligent questions that about, like, the nuance of character.
Mm.
Like, how do you communicate non-verbally? How like what do when people like accuse you of being quirky, like what does that mean? And I'm like, well, do you know the kids in drama club at school? And she's like, I was one of those kids. Like
Perfect.
I think that she really related to me, and so it was very easy for her to like get into my character.
How did you find her for that?
I mean, again, like I'm part of a
Casting?
huge team.
Yeah.
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 So Carmen Cuba is the casting person,
Yeah.
like genius,
Yeah.
casting genius. Is
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
what we call it?
What did we do now?
And she brought all of these amazing people together. I mean, Sharon Horgan plays my mom, which is just like
Yeah.
incredible. And like for especially this like comedic actor to be in this super dramatic role and
Yeah.
like taking on all of that, like I s- I often say that what my mom went through was worse than what I went through. And so
God.
like people
Especially
should
now
keep their
being as a
eyes on her
mom, you
character.
probably feel that even more.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Like the second I gave birth to my daughter, I was like, "Oh my
Yeah, it
god."
just cracks a new, like, cracks your heart open to a place you didn't think was possible, and then gives you all the empathy and compassion in the world for your own mother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like again that helplessness that you end up being in, like
Yeah.
my mom would have traded places with me in an
Oh, yeah.
instant, but she couldn't. And
Mhm.
so she has had to sit there and watch me suffer
Yeah.
for years and watch me like that sparkle disintegrate in front of her eyes. And it's like that's my daughter's sparkle. How dare you?
Totally,
You
and
know?
having to watch your own daughter also question who she like, you were questioning yourself at moments. You were questioning, like, "Did I do that? Did
Is
I
this my
forget that?"
fault?
Like,
Like what is
"Yeah, is
going
this
on?
my
Yeah.
fault?" And people are probably, like, confused by that, but when you're not sleeping, you're under that much pressure, you're trying to grieve something, you're in a whirlwind, you're also 20 freaking years old, and you're being slapped in the back of the head by cops saying, "F you," and calling you awful names.
Yeah.
Your brain probably goes, "What do you want me to say? I'll say it."
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's even in the world of reality television, you get to a point of, like, pressure where you're like, "What do you want me to say?" I'll just say, "I need to go to bed." I can't imagine.
Yeah, that's I love that you bring that up because a lot of people feel like they just don't understand like the whole interrogation, coerced confession thing. They think, oh, I'm an innocent. If I'm innocent, I would never say anything,
Right.
blah, 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 blah. But it's like, how many times are we gaslit every single day?
Every day.
How many times do we say things that we don't mean just because we're exhausted or whatever? We
Yeah.
don't like, we're in the middle of some kind of hostile interaction and we just need to get out of it. Like, this is a very universal experience.
It
And
really
yet
is.
there's like this wall that people just don't want to believe
Yeah.
that it's humanly possible to be pushed, to be broken to the point.
Interrogated.
Yes.
Literally to the point of like hallucination and losing your mind.
Yeah.
I would do the same. I really would. I've been in much less severe situations and I've questioned my own
Right.
brain.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I think anyone who's not a like a complete narcissist
Yep.
is going to question themselves when, especially when like authority figures that you trust are telling you that reality isn't what you think it is.
Why do you think that system over there was so dead set on getting you?
Mm. Well, I mean, one of the things that we explore in the show is the bias that was really from the very beginning of this case. And by bias, I don't mean it in a like in a negative connotation necessarily. Like we all have bias.
Sure.
It's just that is our context, right? We have a history, we have ideologies, we have belief systems that are all just baked into us. And occasionally those come into conflict with the history and context and ideologies of another human being that we encounter,
Right.
and suddenly there's a little perfect storm. Well, this story is about a huge perfect storm of people with all the best intentions but with completely different contexts encountering each other and colliding in a dramatic situation in a pressure cooker,
Mhm.
and what are the consequences. One thing that KJ Steinberg, our creator and showrunner, like her design for the whole series, especially when talking about the wrongful conviction
Yeah.
part, the investigation part, she called it the anatomy of bias. And so what does that mean? She's breaking down how one man who has, a history of looking into serial killer cases and all of that comes into contact with this crime that was, in many ways baffling to this small community, right? Like murder was not something that was common in
Mhm.
Perugia, Italy. Like
Mhm.
the police were typically dealing with people, petty theft and like petty drug dealing because it's a college town,
Right.
like that's the kind of thing that they're used to.
Sure.
They're not used to a beautiful young girl who's A+ student, has done everything right, being murdered in her own bedroom,
Right.
right? Like it was threatening to the
Mhm.
community, and I think at first baffling because again, it's not like some girls were out partying and then someone gets taken advantage of and, pulled into an
Right.
alley. Like, no, she was in her own bedroom.
Right.
Someone broke into our house and committed this crime. It was very immediately, again, threatening to the community and confusing.
Mhm.
And my prosecutor, who again is someone, and in Italy, prosecutors lead investigations. They have a much more impactful role than they do even here in the
Got it.
United States. So he was the one who really crafted this, how the investigation would go down, and from the ground up was constructing this narrative of what he believed, what he truly believed happened. And he took one look at our house and decided that the break in was not real.
Right.
And from that interpretation, because again, like, to this day, I have conversations with him and he's really sort of, he struggles to distinguish between what is a fact and what is an interpretation.
Mm.
So like a
Mhm.
fact is there's a broken window. A
Right.
fact is there's my roommate's body, right?
Right.
These are facts.
Yeah.
He then would look at these facts and come up with a idea in his mind about what they meant. So the break-in is staged. That is not a fact. That is an
Right.
interpretation. That is his theory.
Yeah.
But his theory became a fact in his mind. It was the premise upon which all of his logical conclusions derived. And that fact suggested that someone who lived in the house had staged a break-in in order to make it appear like a stranger had committed this crime instead of someone who lived in the actual
Mhm.
house. And
Mhm.
there were not that many of us who lived in the actual house.
Mhm.
And I was the one American girl.
Mhm.
I was the stranger. I was the one who didn't speak Italian. I was the one who was closest to Meredith's age and, eh, and lifestyle, right? Like
Yeah.
she was just 1 year older than me. She was the other exchange student. Everyone else who lived in the house was Italian.
Has anyone ever apologized to you?
People have, over the years, it's interesting the people who do apologize to me. A lot of people, especially after seeing the Netflix documentary, reached out to me and like really, truly distraught, like
Wow.
absolutely distraught that they had believed horrible things about me, and not just believed horrible things about me, but, like, had enjoyed the experience of believing bad things
Yep.
about me, the
Yep.
schadenfreude of it all. And, like, I have so much sympathy for people because that is what the media spoon-fed them,
Yes.
right?
Wait, I wanna go back. Schadenfreude,
Yeah,
that's when people find joy in other people's suffering, right?
exactly.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and so there was this
And that
element.
happens a lot in this world.
Oh,
Yeah.
100%, and in fact, like, there are certain I mean, again, the media the algorithms recognize that the one, you know, feeling that causes people to engage with media, which is what they want,
Mhm.
is outrage. It's not joy,
Headlines are never pleasant, like, exciting things that, like, people might or might not click on.
it's
They're
outrage.
outrage and chaotic and all these things to get people, like, that is such a thing in so many aspects of media.
Yep,
Wow.
and this is something and again, like, it's something we explore in the series is, like, how are we allowing a feedback loop to tell us to, like, feed us even completely made up information merely for the fact of getting us to be stimulated and engaged with it, and by
Yeah.
stimulated and engaged, we mean outraged.
It's scary. It's scary because, like, how do you trust anything in the media, and the media runs our whole world?
And the media, primarily is an institution that, when it is with integrity, it seeks to give people the information that they should know so that they can live a life that is informed and ethical. Like that's the job of the media. It's to democratize information for the rest of us. It's to act as a filter
Yeah.
and to provide us things that's why we want it. It gives us information that we want to know.
Yeah.
But again, that feedback loop. What do we want to know? Do we want to know the truth
Right.
or do we want to know a story that is outrageous?
Right. God, that's so true. It just gave me a little bit of goosebumps in a bad way. Like
Well, but
heebie-jeebies.
and here we are, media professionals
Yeah.
now. Like we know how powerful the media is. We
Yeah.
know what the power of sharing stories is.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
try to
Because
be
there is a
ethical.
beautiful side of it.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
100%. Like
Yeah.
again, there's nothing good or bad necessarily. It's just
It is.
what are we doing and why are we doing it? And that's something that I take very seriously as
Yeah.
a media professional because I've been on the other side of it. I
Of
know what
course.
it's like to be treated like, a, a caricature,
Yeah.
an object, a piece of meat that people are just peddling. So something that like everyone involved in this project was really, really careful about was like not wanting to tell a black and white narrative, not wanting to
Yeah.
tell the same kind of story that has been told for this particular case that we've seen time and time again. We've seen very, very black and white narratives about this case.
Yeah.
How do we tell a story that grounds us in everyone's humanity? How do we understand context?
God, the world needs that right now too.
I think it does.
Yeah.
I think it does because we are in a world where people we are grappling with misinformation and alternate realities constantly.
Constantly.
Like you can't have a conversation with people because it's no longer even about a debate about how to interpret facts.
Mhm.
It's even trying to figure out what facts even exist and we agree on are facts. Like
Yes.
this is the world we live in today and like my case was that problem 20 years ago.
Right.
And there is a way forward. It does involve some counterintuitive work, though. It
Mhm.
involves building bridges where you wouldn't otherwise build a bridge because the first way to try to get someone to appreciate a fact is not by presenting them a fact,
Yeah.
it is by acknowledging them as a person.
Mm. Wow. You're so well spoken.
Blah.
Every
Yeah.
I'm just, like, sitting here, like, I could listen to you forever because and you're so, like, Everything you're saying, I'm just like, yes. But you say it in such a beautiful way. I am always trying to give Pinot and Ramen the very best. Good food, fun toys, all the care that they deserve. And if you love your pets as much as I do, you know that life can get hectic. And Chewy just makes it so easy to keep them happy and healthy. Everything I need, from their favorite treats to new dog beds, it just all shows up. Everything right at my front door. Fast, hassle-free. Chewy carries over, this is so crazy, 100,000 products from all the top pet brands. And it's not just dogs, it's cats, birds, fish, reptiles, small pets, whatever turns your crank. They've got it all. And with summer here, fleas, ticks, something to stay ahead of. Chewy has vet recommended meds, prescription meds, telehealth visits, which I actually love, and in-person vet clinics expanding nationwide. So honestly, Chewy just makes life a whole lot simpler, and I love seeing Pinot and Ramen always thrive. Right now, you can save $20 on your first order, plus get free shipping at chewy.com/vine. That's chewy.com/vine to save $20 on your first order with free shipping. Minimum purchase required, new customers only. Terms and conditions apply, so see site for details. Okay, we all know this feeling when your to-do list is so long, you don't even know where to start. Ooh, I feel like that right now, actually. Work appointments, catching up with friends, remembering to drink enough water. Life is nonstop, and if you throw apartment hunting into the mix, well, forget about it. Just forget about it. But that is where apartments.com can come in handy. They take the stress out of finding your next home so you can actually enjoy the process instead of dreading it. So if you want to see if a place is a good fit, you could take a 3D virtual tour and get a real feel for the space without even having to leave your couch. And once you find a place you love, you can schedule a tour online and even apply with one click, so you're not stuck filling out endless paperwork for every single place you're interested in. It's all in one spot, making your search just way easier. So whether you're moving for a fresh start, a new job, just better vibes all around, apartments.com helps you get it done so you can get back to literally everything else. So join the millions of happy renters. Find your next home at apartments.com, the place to find a place. I want to talk about Monica Lewinsky because
Yeah,
obviously
our girl.
Oh, I'm obsessed.
Have you interviewed her yet?
I would do anything to interview her.
Okay, I'll text her later.
Please. Oh, I respect her so much, and she's obviously had her life defined by media headlines.
OG.
The OG.
Yeah.
So how did you two get connected and create this?
Great question. So I initially met Monica in that period of my life when I was still feeling very diminished and like I couldn't speak out or anything like that. In fact, the first ever time that I gave a public talk, I agreed to do it because Monica was also going to be there.
Aw.
And I really wanted to meet her. And I'm come out of prison and I'm like, oh my God, there's no path forward for me. Everyone blames me for the bad thing that happened to me. They just want me to shut up and disappear. Like I'm not allowed, I just felt like I had to hide.
Mm-hmm.
And then she did her TED Talk.
Mm-hmm.
And then she did her Vanity Fair articles. And I was just like awakened in me this idea that maybe there's a path forward for me.
Yeah.
So then when, years go by and I have this opportunity to give a talk, I asked to meet her. And she invited me up to her hotel room and she gave me tea and she really gave me like this pep talk, like this really big sister pep talk about like taking care of myself, but also remembering that my voice matters
Yeah.
and really instilling in that or in me that belief.
Mm-hmm.
And years go by, we stay in contact, but I had just given birth to my daughter, Eureka,
Mm-hmm.
and a New York Times profile came out about me, and she read it and reached immediately out and said, hey, I just did this thing, with impeachment. Like, I'm out there telling my story, and I would really like to help you tell yours. And I was like, girl, you
Thank
had
you.
me at hello.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, like,
Absolutely.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
That's so cool. I'm like, what a bond, what a strong friendship you must have, and now working
Yeah.
together and
Yeah, I mean, it's been so incredible working with her because again, like she's just been through it
yeah.
ahead of me.
Yeah.
So she's trying to like forge this path to literally like hacking through the weeds
Yeah.
to like make the way a little bit easier for the next person. And
So cool.
one of my goals in this project was also to do the same. Like
Yeah.
this is a new thing that Hollywood is doing. That's giving voice and creative, not creative control, but certainly like creative input,
Input. Yeah.
like actual, respect for the people who are the source.
Yeah.
And that's never been done before. And I feel like in a way, Monica and I are the guinea pigs
Yeah.
to like, prove, is this a thing that actually leads to better results? And we believe that is true. So
Yes.
of course we're like working our asses off to
Yeah.
like create something smart and thoughtful and beautiful and better than it could have been without us,
Yeah.
so that it's easier for the next person who comes along.
I love that. I mean, you could do that in so many different worlds, like being from the Bachelor, Bachelorette world, like there's like small T trauma and big T trauma.
Sure.
I always consider like going through reality TV, like I was a bit traumatized because I felt like a little bit manipulated.
No doubt.
Yeah. And so now I have like just this whole feeling anytime they announce a new bachelorette, I'm just like, I am here for you no matter what. Like, I want you to
Mm.
talk to me. I want you to call me if you need anything. We can talk through anything. Like, I just feel this wanted responsibility to be there for them on obviously a much different scale than yours, but just like I understand that idea of like how hard you want to work to because you see the benefit of how it changed your life when somebody is believes in you and when somebody is there hacking away to create the path for you.
Yeah.
You see the impact that it has on you.
Mm.
And then you feel like it's like you want to, but it's also your duty to like, do that for somebody else. And you're obviously doing that.
Yeah.
You're doing that.
Have you ever interviewed Christine Marie Cottis?
No.
She's a person who also has been through, a terrible big T kind of
Yeah.
trauma, but like which involved horrible, horrible things,
Yeah.
including, it was like cult related
Oh,
bad
scary.
stuff, right? Like
Yeah.
that. And she survived it.
Yeah.
But then she did like a Discovery Channel, I don't know, like it was some kind of show
Yeah.
where they interviewed her about it. And she said the trauma from telling her story to that outlet and the way that they represented it was more traumatic than actually
Wow.
going through the thing itself. And she
Wow.
then went on to get a PhD in studying media trauma and
Yes.
especially talking with reality show contestants, people who are on these reality shows
Yep.
who enter into it thinking, "Oh, here's an opportunity for me to like put myself out there and like, be a personality and just, it's an industry where you really have to like elevate yourself. Here's an opportunity to elevate myself
Yeah.
and it might be fun, it's
Yeah.
it's fun." But then it becomes deeply manipulated,
Yeah.
you're gaslit, you're, coerced into doing things you wouldn't otherwise do. And then of course also the way that they film a thing, they completely cut it apart and paste it back together and make you appear to be outrageous for the sake of audience engagement. And
And the audience loves that.
audience loves that. But then what are you left with?
Right.
Like you're not the one who's in control of your own story.
Mhm.
And suddenly you're defined in a big way that you were not prepared for.
Mhm.
And she talks about what is called narrative foreclosure,
Okay.
which is the feeling that you are not the protagonist of your own life anymore. You're just a pawn of
Mm.
someone else's. And like the deep feeling of like dread and helplessness
Wow.
that comes from that.
Wow.
And so again, it's these universal feelings that
Yeah.
we have.
You're right.
And obviously there are certain situations that bring that out more, but even a person who's just like on the treadmill of life,
Yeah.
like doing everything right, they become a doctor or an accountant or whatever, will reach a point where they go, "Wait a second. Did I make any of these choices?
Right. Yes.
Or am I just here and do I want to be here and who am I and
I
what am
always
I
think like
doing?"
people see the blueprint of life. I just do this, I go here, I get this, I go to the next step, and then you look back and you go, did I do that for me or who was I doing that for?
Right. And that's in the best case scenario when you
Yeah.
do everything right and you get the things that you deserve.
Yeah.
But then there are those of us who go about life and do everything right and we still don't get what we deserve. Like we go to college to get a degree so we can get a good job. I mean, you're seeing that now with a lot of like computer science
Yeah.
people who can't get jobs because
Yeah.
AI is taking them. And they're
Yeah.
like, "Wait a second, I was promised a healthy and happy career life and that's disappeared." And that's in itself a kind of narrative foreclosure. That's itself is a kind of trauma because you're going, "Wait, life is not what I expected it to be."
Yeah.
And how do you then approach that reality? I think a lot of people get stuck
Oh
in
yeah.
my life should have been this
Yeah.
instead of my life is this. And that's the distinction.
What kind of mentality did you have while you were in prison for those 4 years? Like, were you able to be like, have this outlook, or were you a complete different person? Because I would have crumbled. I would have lost it. I don't think I would have made it. Like, I really don't. And I'm sure you had times of thinking like that, but then how do you come out of that? Like, what were those 4 years like?
Yeah, there was a shift that happened. It wasn't all the same, right? Like
Yeah.
there was before I was convicted and then there was after.
Mhm.
So the first 2 years of my imprisonment, I was just waiting for a verdict. I was
Was that the
like
longest 2 years of your whole life?
it was you know what? The first year
Yeah.
was really long.
Yeah.
And then this weird thing happens with time in prison where like every single day is the longest day of your life,
Yeah.
but then all of a sudden a month is gone and you're like, where did this month of my life go?
Interesting.
Because every day is so monotonous
Yeah.
and routine and there's not a lot you can do.
Yeah.
So it's just like it becomes this weird blur.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the first 2 years of my imprisonment, my, like, innate optimism, that, like, Disney princess outlook,
Yeah.
assisted a little bit by, some soccer training experience helped
Yeah.
me through. So, like, I've had to the toughest things that I dealt with as a kid was soccer training.
Yeah.
Like, I was it wasn't just, like, rec soccer.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, okay.
I was in a premier team, which meant that I had to work my butt off, and
Yeah.
sometimes it hurt. And so I knew just sort of innately from in a bodily way that, like, pain didn't necessarily mean a bad thing,
Mhm.
right? Like, if you pushed through pain, you might arrive at some kind of, valuable thing on the other side of
Mhm.
it. Like, I had that sort of innately deep down. So in prison for the first 2 years, I thought this was just a big misunderstanding, and I felt like my job was simply to wait
Yeah.
and let the adults do the right thing.
Yeah.
Like, because again, I was a kid and I just was like, no one's listening to me. I'm helpless. I'm
Yeah.
trying, but no one's listening to me. It's clearly out of my control. I cannot open this door. So I'm just going to hang in there
Mhm.
until the adults do the right thing.
Wow.
And that was a long time to hang in there. But I had this, like, light at the end of the tunnel,
Yeah.
right? Like, I'm on trial. There's gonna be a
And, like,
verdict.
knowing deep down you didn't do
Yeah,
it
I
is
didn't do it.
yeah.
So, like, how could they possibly find me
Right.
guilty? But then they found me
Yeah.
guilty and sentenced me to 26 years in prison, which is longer than I've ever been alive.
Right.
So that then catapulted me into a new mentality,
Yeah.
which was the first inklings of this more, I feel like I've encapsulated a little bit better what it like I know the mentality better now, but
Yeah.
at the time it was this like it was truly a shift
Mhm.
in, oh, I'm not just waiting for the life that I should be living. This is my life.
Yeah.
Like this is it. This is all I've got.
That, like, gives me anxiety just to even think about.
But then the counterpart to that, so yes, it involved a lot of grieving,
Yeah.
right? Like all of these things that I thought that I would have in my life, like a career and a family,
Mhm.
gone.
Yeah.
Okay, this is my life. What can I do with it? Because the one thing that I wasn't doing up to that point was trying to like do something with my life. I was just waiting to get it back.
Mhm.
I was really just like reading books and like in my brain thinking I'm going to go back to college any second now. But that wasn't the case. So then I, like, started looking around me for the first time and going, "What can I do that will make my life worth living?"
Mhm.
And I did go to Italy because I had dreamed about becoming a translator, and I had become fluent in Italian in prison, and there were a lot of people in my prison who either could not speak Italian
Mm.
or, even if they could speak Italian, could not read or write. And suddenly, I had a job.
A purpose.
A purpose, and a hustle, as we call it.
Yeah.
Um,
You're just doing the grind in there.
yeah, I'm just grinding away, but, like, I had a reason to be, and it didn't make it happy. I was not happy.
Yeah. No.
I was sad every single day, but I had a purpose,
Mhm.
which made it bearable. And then I got out thinking, yay, now I get to go back to the life that I should have. But I quickly realized that that life didn't exist.
Yeah.
This was still my life.
Yeah.
I'm still the girl accused of murder.
Yeah.
I'm still on trial. And even if I'm not on, even technically on trial in a court of law, I'm still on trial in the court of public opinion because everyone has an opinion.
Well, and it was worldwide. Yeah.
So there's like nowhere I can go.
Oh,
And
gosh.
yeah, so
And
okay.
social media was a thing too.
Yeah. And I feel like in a weird way, because I never had a choice,
hmm
I never had the illusion of having a choice, right? I feel like one of the things that my experiences, because it was so extreme, it allowed me to see through the idea that like I might be able to like go through life as if this hadn't happened. Right? I think sometimes we trick ourselves about that. We think,
Yeah.
oh, I just need to move on
Yeah.
and pretend this didn't happen and I'll be able to like be happy again. It's like,
hmm
no, that's not how
That is
trauma works.
sadly not how
No,
trauma works.
no, it stays in you. It's in your body and you have to deal with it. And like from day one, I was like, well, I guess I have to deal with this because the world is not, the
Yeah.
world is not going to let me move on. So how do I do it?
It literally is trapped in your body. And the way I'm assuming how you do it is what you're doing now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's different for everyone,
Of
like, not
course.
everyone has the same, outlet, but, like, for me, especially because my story and my identity was stolen from me, it's been very therapeutic to engage directly with that, to, like for me, I'm the kind of person who likes to go towards the thing like, go directly at the thing that hurts me.
Mm.
So for me, that looked like going directly back at the media and saying, "This is who I am." And going directly back to my prosecutor and saying, "This is who I am,
hmm
and this is reality. You don't get to tell me what reality is anymore. This is it."
Yeah. I just want to snap. Yes. I'm like, I love that. I think I mean, you're smart and you're strong and you've been through so much, and it is your time to have your story and tell it the way that you want to and the way it actually was.
Yeah.
And I think you're in such a good place where like I think the world does see through some media bullshit now, and
Well, we can see that we've been lied
we
to.
can see that we've been lied to. Yeah. So it is the perfect timing for you. I mean, I wish it would have happened 20 years ago and all this stuff, but you know what? Like you can't take it back,
No, you can't.
you
And so
know?
you just do what good you can do from it, you know?
And I feel like now having a husband and two children, the past has probably helped shape your relationship with your husband and your children now.
Yeah.
What do you think those conversations will be like with your children?
Well, the fun part about that is, they've already started happening.
Oh
I
yeah?
mean, well, and because this show has sort of like kickstarted it.
Yeah.
Like I was anticipating my daughter asking me about it when she would be like 6 or 7,
Yeah.
but we started making this show, well, we really started making this show like shortly after she was born. So
Mm.
like but when we really started like actually filming, like we're on set, she's 3 years old
Yeah.
and I'm getting footage back to overlook and, see and all of that, and sometimes she'll wanna sit on my lap and see what I'm doing, and she's like, "Oh, what's this?"
Yeah.
And I go, "Oh, that's, someone pretending to be mommy," and
Yeah.
she's like, "Oh, what's the story?" Like, she's so interested in stories,
Yeah.
and so she asks me the story of when mommy went to Italy, and I have to go, okay, how being the person who believes in like transparency with age appropriate
Yep. Yeah.
transparency, I'm like, okay, how do I tell this story in a way that she will understand it and
Mhm.
appreciate it? And what she understands right now is a fairy tale.
Yeah.
And so I tell it to her like a fairy tale. And in a way, that telling has also helped in the telling of this story because it's not just a courtroom drama. Like
Yeah.
KJ Steinberg, the creator, she broke the mold on true crime and biopic. Like, this is a coming of age fairy tale.
Yeah.
And it's not limited to the courtroom drama. It starts and ends with me going back to Italy to confront my prosecutor, me making a choice, me being a protagonist in my own life again, instead of just being helpless and at the whim of other people.
Yeah.
It's a choice that I made as a character in the show.
Right.
And that's like that hero's journey that a person goes on as a in a fairy tale.
Yeah, because that's how I picture you telling your children is like, this is a powerful story
Yes.
where you are the hero. and you do get to have your truth and
Right.
like,
Or if not the hero, then at least somebody who's making some choices.
yeah,
Like
I think of you as a hero. That's how I would make it about you. But yeah, it's like it can be a very powerful story
Yeah.
for her. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, I just can't even imagine because I dream of having children one day.
Yeah.
And even just alone thinking of telling them like, well, if you Google me,
Yeah.
you know,
Yes.
like-
Yeah. And so it's not just the even like if you Google me thing, but it's also what kind of world am I introducing you to?
oh, it's terrifying.
So how do I make a world that's going to be kinder to my daughter than
Yeah.
it was to me?
Making the path for her in a much bigger way. This right here is an ad by BetterHelp. And these days it feels like there's just advice for everything, everywhere. Cold plunges, gratitude journals, screen detoxes. But how do you really know what's actually working for you? I've definitely felt overwhelmed by all the wellness and mental health content out there. I feel like it's just like this trend that everyone's trying to go viral with. And it just makes even taking the first step feel confusing. And like, am I allowed to eat carrots? I don't know. But that is why I love BetterHelp. BetterHelp connects you with live therapists who can give personalized guidance, helping you cut through the noise and just figure out what works for you. Whether it's learning positive coping skills, setting better boundaries, or just feeling more empowered in your day-to-day, therapy can make a world of a difference. And with over 30,000 therapists, BetterHelp is the world's largest online therapy platform and has helped over 5 million people globally. It's super convenient too, which I love. You can start a session at the click of a button. You can fit it into your busy life and even switch therapists anytime. The results obviously speak for themselves. 4.9 out of 5 average rating across more than 1.7 million client reviews. As the largest online therapy provider in the world, BetterHelp can provide access to mental health professionals with a diverse variety of expertise. So talk it out with BetterHelp. Off the Vine listeners, you're going to get 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/vine. That's betterhelp.com/vine.
The ultimate grown-up summer camp is officially coming to Destin, Florida, September 26th to 28th, and it's called Lady World. Headliners include Hannah Berner, comedian and star of Giggly Squad, Stassi Schroeder, Lady Gang, Girls Gotta Eat, Chicks in the Office, Justin Sylvester, Rachel Lindsay, Kaitlyn, Bristowe, and so many more, plus music from The Maine and Pop 2K members of NSYNC, BB Mac, O-Town, Mark McGrath from Sugar Ray, Ryan Cabrera. It's just our dream lineup. 3 days of activities, 3 nights of shows, all for $300. Tickets are available now at ladyworld.co. That's Ladyworld, LADY, world.co. But hurry up because they are really going fast. Lady World, presented by e.l.f. Cosmetics, takes over Destin this September.
I did want to talk about just public perception because so much of the public's opinion of you came from what was called your strange behavior,
Right.
which always annoyed me. Like you were smiling and laughing in the infamous cartwheel that you didn't even do,
I
right?
didn't even do, no.
Like a cartwheel. I'm just like, I don't understand how you're not allowed to grieve a certain way. Like if you smile, if you're happy with your boyfriend, like,
Yeah. So this I think goes back to that like anatomy of bias thing because what really went on is that the police made a decision very early on that I was somehow involved in my roommate's death
mhm,
and they pushed to arrest me before they had evidence,
yeah,
right? So they were going off of their own sort of, instead of like allowing the evidence at the crime scene to guide them, right? Like there is forensic evidence that they gathered from the crime scene. They approached the crime scene, had some gut feelings about it, and those gut feelings then informed their ability to perceive what was happening around them. And I think that they just had a limited imagination about what my context was.
yeah,
So, one thing that I think this show really does a good job of is showing who knows what when.
yeah,
Because everyone who looks back on this case previously has just assumed that everyone had the same information at the same time and then sort of puts them next to each other and says, well, they're crying and she's not crying and therefore she's a psychopath,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Well, people don't realize that everyone was speaking Italian
yeah,
except for me.
yeah,
And so in the initial like discovery of the crime scene, say, I did not see my friend's body.
right,
I did not see it. So when everyone starts screaming in Italian and talking over each other, and one of my roommates is hysterical, I don't know what's going on.
Your body went into freeze mode.
I went into freeze mode, and I'm trying to like pick up what people are even saying to understand what everyone is so upset about, because I don't know that my roommate has been murdered.
Wow.
And so when they, take a video of me getting a kiss from my boyfriend outside of the crime scene, and they say, look at her making out with her boyfriend, they're not thinking, here's a girl who's in shock, who's trying to figure out what's going on, and her boyfriend is comforting her.
Yeah, that's what I saw.
Well, and that's the interesting thing. What do you see depends on what you want to see. This is what confirmation bias is.
Yeah.
This is when you have a lens that makes you interpret reality a certain way. Did I kiss my boyfriend? Yes, that is a fact. Does it mean that I was guilty of involvement in the crime? Only if you assume
that's
like
your
a certain
assumption.
number of things. These are interpretations of facts. And so why do we interpret facts the way we do? That is the question.
And that is a reflection on who's making that assumption.
Exactly.
Yeah. God, there's so much of that out there. In every, I can't even,
And what drives me nuts about it too is like people point to my behavior and say, oh, look, she was acting guilty. And it's like, you know what acting guilty looks like?
hiding, not being at the scene. Like-
Well, yeah, running out of the country. Sorry, this is an Italian thing where you're like, I mean, skipping out. It's
Yeah.
like running away
Yeah.
from the crime that you just committed,
Like the
which is
one
what
who
the
did.
real killer did. Like one of the things that people don't even
He fled the country.
He
I
fled
was
the
immediately like
country.
guilty.
You took on a false identity. Like his DNA was all over the crime scene. He had a history of breaking and entering, and still nobody. Do you know his name?
No.
Right? Nobody knows his name.
And I just watched it this morning.
I know, right? Like because he wasn't the focus of the case. He was not the lens.
And he's
Why
forgotten
did he?
about
And he's
living his
forgotten.
life.
He's currently on trial for assaulting another young woman.
You're kidding me.
I'm not kidding you. This is what.
Why am I shocked? I'm not shocked.
So again, the lens. Why do we interpret reality a certain way?
Right.
Why do we focus on one thing or another?
Right.
These are the questions that are really at the heart of this case and at the heart of this series.
Because now my brain is going back to what I just watched this morning because I was trying to think of that guy's name. Your boyfriend, Raphael, do you two still keep in touch?
Yeah. He's going to be here for the premiere. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, so you didn't. I would hold a grudge on that motherfucker so hard. I'd be like, you turned on me. Just kidding.
Oh, no. I mean, I was in an interrogation room too. Like we were both kids overwhelmed. Like,
no, that makes sense. I love hearing that too because well, I just like said it with you, the interrogation and your mind and the gaslighting happened to him too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
And
you're scared. And you're so scared.
And he's known me a week.
Yeah.
Like, what does he know?
True.
And he's being accused of participating in a crime he has nothing to do with. And just because he's my alibi?
Right.
Like, are you kidding me?
Right.
So.
Oh, I'm glad he's going to be at the premiere. That's nice that you still have that friendship. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we've both grown a lot
I can't
through this.
imagine.
And he's had to deal with his own trauma about this because again, he's also not someone that people really think of when they think of this case. And he's also suffered just as much as I have.
Absolutely.
Have you seen any of the series yet? Did you get a screener link?
No.
Oh,
I wanted one so. Last night I was talking to the people at Hulu. I was like, how's nobody got me a link?
Yeah, no, okay.
Well, when
it
does it come out?
It comes
The
out
20th?
tomorrow. So August 20th.
Yeah.
Tomorrow. I don't know when this podcast is coming out.
I'm going to try and have it come out very soon.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
So you'll be able to see the first 2 episodes tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then if you want, you can try to sneak some screener links from Hulu. But
I'm going to.
for those who cannot get screener links,
Yeah.
1 episode will come out every week after that. So there's 8 episodes total.
Yeah.
And I almost feel like it's a good thing that they space them out because they get really intense really fast. So
yeah, you need like a week to digest and
I mean, maybe. There's so many like lighthearted elements in this series. Like KJ had this amazing idea to be inspired by Amélie, which is the movie that I was watching the night that this crime occurred. And so there's fun elements to it.
Yeah.
But there's also intense things.
Yeah.
And so I think that what's really cool about this series is that there is something for everyone.
Yeah.
Like if you're a true crime nut, you're gonna enjoy the true crime element of it. But if you're just like a human, story kind of person, like that is what it ultimately is grounded
I'm
in.
all of those things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay, so we know it comes out on Hulu tomorrow.
Yes,
First
August
2
20th.
episodes and then 1 per week.
Yep.
Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
That's a really big deal, and it's a really important deal.
Yeah.
And then I wanted to close with, because I'm like, I feel like your roommate, her name has just been this headline. I'm like, maybe we could talk about like a few positive things that she was.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
totally. I love that, especially because even the prosecution, like in making her, in pursuing justice for her,
Yeah.
turned her into a caricature.
Yeah.
Like they made her out to be this like uptight, judgmental person,
Yeah.
and she was not that at all. We made cookies together. We went thrift shopping together. Like she was a year older than me and a
Mhm.
little more sophisticated, so she like was making sure that I was safe. Like
Yeah.
one of the things, again, this is like uh, um, Meredith did everything right, right? Like she never walked home alone. She always had, she
Mhm.
was always telling me, make sure you have someone walk home with you. I'll walk home with you. Just like make sure. That night, she had someone walk home with her
Wow.
and she was attacked in her own home. Like she did everything right.
Yeah.
And still this happened to her. She was so sweet. She liked to dance in when she was doing the laundry, and she loved to dance and she loved music, and she loved to read mystery novels. Like there I would very often find her just like on the terrace sunbathing and reading a book. And I mean, she was a real person.
Yeah.
And that's something that we try to like honor in the show as well, is it's like she was not a caricature.
Yeah.
She was not an uptight, judgmental person. Like she
Mhm.
was very warm, she was very welcoming, and she was young and on her own adventure and
Yeah.
also having fun, like
So tragic. It's just so tragic. I lost a best friend when I was 18 in a tragic accident, and I get so like touched by like, you know, cuz it wasn't this crazy headline story, but in my small area,
yeah.
it shook everyone so much, and I couldn't believe how there was a reporter outside of the funeral when we were like carrying her out, trying to ask me questions, and I was like, the
Whoa.
happening? Like, and it's like, I just wanted her to, I still to this day, I still try and live out her legacy and like share fun stories about her because it's important. So
Yeah.
I wanted to end on that and share
Yeah.
how
Thank
special
you.
she was. And
Yeah.
that I can't imagine, like I can, because I've lost a friend, but in that way and just everything you've had to go through with it. So
Yeah.
I don't know you, but I'm very proud of you.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I
Thank
am.
you.
It's
It's been such a pleasure to talk to you.
it
Yeah.
really has been.
Yeah.
I have said this maybe 3 times in the last 8 years, but I think this might be one of my favorite interviews. Just the way you carry yourself, but also speak, and just like the passion and the life that you have back in you. And I'm just really proud of you.
Thank you.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
can't wait to watch
Yeah.
and just cheer you on and all the things.
Thank you. I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
Thank you for sharing your story and continuing to do so through many platforms, which as you should.
Thank you.
Yes. It's beautiful. Amazing. Thank you guys.